So types of Maryland certifications. The conditional cert is issued at the discretion of the district, often to individuals who are not traditionally certified or participating in an alt-route program. So for example, if I graduated from college with an English degree, but I did not pursue an education pathway, the district, at its discretion, could issue me a conditional certification, review my transcript, and essentially provide information to me in terms of what I would need to become professionally certified. The resident teacher certificate is the type of certificate that is often given to folks in Teach for America, BCTR, or urban teachers. The SPC, the Standard Professional, so this is traditionally the type of certificate that you would earn if you graduate from a college of education. The SPC2 cert is the cert that you would transition to if you do not fulfill all of the requirements for the APC. And in the state of Maryland, that's the Advanced Professional, that is 36 credits or a master's.
We are rarely hearing much concern about people who aren't clear about how to get to the APC. We are much more often dealing with challenges of getting to an SPC.
As of right now, we have 4,905 teachers, and about 2,456, so about 50%, are currently on the APC. About another 28%, I believe, are on the SPC. 344 are on the resident teacher certificate, and about 684, or 14%, of our current teachers hold a conditional certificate at this time. About 75% of those teachers are Black.
How do we go from that conditional seat to that at least to the standard seat?
I'm a CTE teacher, and we've all gone to the CTE meetings. I was hired last year, so here we are a year and a half later. Every meeting we've had for CTE, there was supposed to be somebody there for certification, and that person has never shown up.
I just came in last school year as a new teacher and never received a transcript analysis, never actually received a contract, never sat down with anybody.
Last year particularly, a lot of people got letters in June 30th and you no longer can teach. And there was no, step, oh, this is coming to you.
The initial analysis that I received, it told me that I had to go complete 27 semester hours within the 2 years. And I know you give 2 years. And I guess for personal reasons, I have 2 young children at home under the age of 4. I make $52,000 a year. I paid $14,300 of that in child care last year. I'm a highly effective teacher. I received another transcript evaluation, and now they're saying I have to go back and get maybe 12 more classes.
Oh, wow.
I just left Catonsville Community College, where for one class is $879. I know there's a tuition reimbursement program. However, because I can't front the money up front, I had to get on a payment plan. So I thought maybe I didn't qualify for the tuition reimbursement plan.
I just found out this year that my certification is going to expire in June of 2019. The last week, I went down North Avenue, and I forgot the person I spoke with, and I came down with this same evaluation they gave to me last year in the summertime, and I said, I already took Biology 101, I knew that was easy, but these 2 classes sound very similar, teaching methodology and methods of teaching reading instruction. I looked at the classes, they sound so similar, I was confused. So I went to North Avenue. I said, could you guys tell me exactly what class am I taking, because I want to take the BCCC. They told me to go down to BCCC. I left my job early and everything. I went down to BCCC. I talked to the chairperson, and she told me the 2 classes to take. Something told me to call North Avenue. I called North Avenue. They tell me that's not right. There was another teacher down there with me saying I took some classes, and then when it was time for me to turn it in, they said that was wrong, so she paid $1,000 for nothing. But I also called MSDE because I know they're over top of North Avenue. After waiting on the phone for 45 minutes, to hear them say, oh, we'll call you tomorrow within the morning, so stay by. And I literally stayed by the phone while I was teaching, to wait for this phone call that I never got.
BCPS needs a relationship with all teachers and staff, not just ones going through some of the programs, for instance, like the BCTR and the TFA. So, the district needs to reach out to teachers that didn't come through a program as well to see where they are.
The benefit of coming in through Teach for America was that, all 75 of us showed up at North Avenue on the same day, and the whole thing was just taken care of. Right? Versus having to navigate that process on your own, having an intermediary who batch cohort processes you. It's completely different. It's like night and day.
PDs from the certification office or human capital regarding courses, schools, aligning teachers with what it is they need, and then again, active mentorship.
We actually don't regularly talk about how many conditionally certified teachers we have. There are a lot of people in the state who have a negative view of that because they equate conditionally certified with unqualified. You see here that we're saying those things should not be equated. Quarter of our black teachers would not be here if we didn't have the option to issue conditional certificates.
The conditional certification does not equate to ineffective, but it does equate to unsupported. That's what we're saying. Those are the teachers that don't have the supports that all those other areas have.
We know transcript analysis alone is not easy for new teachers to discern the courses that they need to take. We know that we need coordinated approaches to help conditionally certified teachers have routes to becoming professionally certified.
Every principal has to meet with every staff member about the IDP, which is an individualized development plan. Principal should be able to say, hey, Anthony, I see you have conditional, but you need 2 courses. Did you know you need 2 courses for... If we can build their capacity with principals and supervisors, that might help versus them trying to reach out to human capital and wait for a response. Maybe we got to build capacity with principals and school managers.
MSDE is thinking that IHEs or community colleges will come up with creative, innovative alt-route programs, potentially to, if we were to go away with transcript analysis, that is one recommendation that MSDE has, to have additional alt-route programs.
One of the main concerns that we have is that a lot of black teachers are not passing the praxis. So looking at these high school teachers who, that's basically high school math preferably, start providing them with some AU opportunities to get them in there to teach some of these praxis courses to help with keeping and retaining the teachers as well.
So the thing about the Praxis Core, it replaced the Praxis 1. The Praxis 1 was a basic knowledge test. And you could use a composite score to pass the test. So let's say you didn't do as well in math, as long as your reading score was high enough, you could still outright pass the test. With the introduction of the core, not only was it a much, much harder exam on the level of, I would say, the GRE, but there was no more composite score. So now you have to pass every single area, reading, writing, and math, in order to pass the test. And we saw a huge number of folks that were struggling to do this. And what we found that was a real problem was those performance discrepancies we saw, they were related to demographics. The path we could take is just getting folks more practice. We could get tutors in every building, helping folks to pass that math praxis core. But that would be a Band-Aid approach. What we need to do is take on the test at a larger level. Because the other really important piece is that we are not seeing any correlation between praxis, test performance, and teacher effectiveness. Right. So there's nothing that says that if you do well in the praxis core, you're also going to be an effective educator. This was a huge problem. And in fact, we found that we had teachers who were doing well in the classroom and at the top of their cohort and not passing that test. With the help of city schools and TNTP together, we drafted sort of a policy memo that would essentially request that Baltimore City public schools get more autonomy to make decisions about who should get certified and who shouldn't.
We know it's not the content of the test. It's not that you can't do math or read. It is the stereotype and all of these things that go into succeeding on these.
exam. So I just want to make sure, like, as a group, we're all clear of what we're talking about, because I think folks like Kirwan and MSD could get hold of that and go, okay, we need to make accommodations for these people who can't pass the test, and that would be a bit of a misnomer.
Yeah.
It's all about systemic issues when it comes to how people are calling, like, not being able to, like, pass those tests. Systemic issues come from the educational experiences that our children have had.
So it's not that black kids are not good at math, it's that their experiences has been groomed to say, you're not really good at this, so you're going to tackle it, you're going to work with it, it's going to be difficult, but that's where you are. And I work with kids who have gone through that private school education all through. I saw the difference. Kids from the same family background, but it's the schooling, and it's not blaming everyone, it's our society. If I went to a certain school, my chances of doing math or being good at math was limited. How do we reach kids where they are and raise them?
I was trying to figure out, why was I so successful? Because I was not extremely good at math. I went to private school. I went to Poly. I did not do that well at Poly. But I finished my school. I had a cohort of people. I had people that continued to help me. Do we perform better as people of color, as African American people, as groups of people, or people where you have partnerships, or where I'm trying to figure out where we can insert ourselves that really makes sense and that really will get us some type of result.
Because we're dealing with systemic issues and we can't go back and treat this, we have to fix here. And so the way we're going to try to fix here is, let's move away from some of the standardized assessment that doesn't allow people to show up as the performers they are. Globally, standardized assessments do not fall upon black people in successful ways they do, in the same way they do as our Caucasian peers.